I know that the students on both coasts express interest for more integration between the two campuses. And I think there has been a fairly steady drumbeat in offering opportunities to accomplish that. Maybe you can talk about that.
Yeah, the Global Business Week change we made was the first, or one of the first big steps to doing that. I think mixing the populations was important for us. You know, this past year, our class that's going to graduate in 2015, they're a really special group. They took it upon themselves to take advantage of the opportunity we give them in the second year to move across coast to take classes. We've always had, for the past 5 or so years, students kind of on a one-off basis, flying from the West Coast to take a class in Philly and vice versa. But this year we had, I think, more than a dozen students from this second-year class in San Francisco come out to Philadelphia and take classes during the fall semester. And then we had about half that many go out to San Francisco. And I really saw the long-term benefit of that just a few weeks ago when our social chair in Philadelphia invited the entire second-year class from San Francisco to come to their graduation party gala in May or April. And so many of the San Francisco students said, hey, who wants to go? Let's get a sign up and we'll organize travel together. And that kind of, I don't even want to use the word network because it seems very businesslike, but friendship that they've developed by interacting with each other, that to me is the secret sauce in terms of getting them together. That's what's really going to be a community builder.
I agree. And I know also that you've worked hard in providing kind of structured opportunities for the two classes to come together.
We're trying to get the San Francisco students to come out to Philly more, to feel that bigger connection to Wharton and to Penn, which sometimes when you're even just Friday and Saturday here on campus, never mind, thousands of miles away, you look for those opportunities. And so we're also thinking about having our orientation sessions here in Philly for both classes. We're not doing that right away, but we're looking to do that maybe in the future. And like you said, maybe have the Philadelphia students go out to San Francisco for a formal weekend. Mm-hmm. And that will complement what we already do, which is bring the first-year students out here in their first term to Philadelphia from San Francisco to meet their Philadelphia counterparts and just to get a sense of what this campus in Philadelphia looks like.
You and I spend a lot of time working to create bridges between the two campuses. Yep. And there's this interesting innovation that was implemented now 2 years ago, which was the installation of a telepresence system for two counterpart classrooms, one in Philadelphia and one in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And there have been both short-term and long-term benefits. I think the short-term benefits, it's hard to readjust class scheduling so that you can have telepresence used actively. And they're always, I know there's sensitivity about having too much online content because it's really important to have student exposure in person to faculty. Yes. But I do have to say I'm very excited about the long-range potential of telepresence. Mm-hmm. We've had several faculty from Philadelphia who will stand in the projection room in Philadelphia and teach a class in the San Francisco campus. Typically that's happened where there's been bad weather in Philadelphia and it's hard to get on airplanes. But I'm equally excited because we've started to use some of the thought leadership and domain expertise that we can capture at the San Francisco campus and broadcast that to the counterpart classroom here in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And to me that's exciting, in part just because of the in-the-moment opportunity to understand how people think in a particular area. But also, it's another way of bringing the two campuses together. Right. We are one institution. It's an amazing community of both students and alumni across the globe. Mm-hmm. And telepresence definitely is going to be a factor in in enhancing that.
It is. It allows certain faculty to teach in San Francisco who might not otherwise. I'm really careful, though, about preserving that in-person experience, right? I think we would do a disservice to the San Francisco students if all of their classes were on telepresence, or even all of one class was on telepresence. But I think if it opens a door to a particular faculty member, then I think it's worth doing. I think it's also really helpful. I get to talk to the class sometimes a little bit more than I might otherwise. Being based here in Philadelphia, I can, do a seminar on something like the elective choices they have via telepresence, and then the seminar experiences that you've developed, as you mentioned, in the entrepreneurial range. You've recently, used telepresence to bring that back to Philadelphia. Do you want to
So
tell
we're
us
very
about that?
enthused about this. This is it's a work in progress, but the telepresence system is there, and the vice dean of the undergraduate program, who doesn't have the same scheduling conflict as the WEMBA students, has been very enthused about opening up the telepresence classroom in Philadelphia. So, for example, we have the CEO of a nationally renowned incubator that's based in San Francisco, who's going to present to a sold-out classroom. We have 100 people signed up, and only 65 people fit in the classroom. So it'll be standing room only in San Francisco, and it's equally going to be sold out here in Philadelphia. So it's a breakfast session in San Francisco. She will stand up and talk about the success of her incubator to not only a San Francisco crowd, but also to Wharton students and some alumni here in Philadelphia. And it's, from a speaker standpoint, it's a wonderful branding opportunity. It's a chance to establish a national brand. And from the standpoint of the students and the alumni, it's equally exciting because it's a chance to really bridge these regional differences that do exist between the East Coast and the West Coast practices in entrepreneurship.
Exactly.
So I'm very enthused about that. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be possible but for telepresence. And Wharton, I think, is the only business school in the United States that has this capability.
And now we're talking about even expanding it, right, to
Yes.
our new Beijing facility. So, the prospects there are just, beyond almost what I think we can imagine right now. Like, what can we not only bring from Beijing here, but from here to potential audiences in Beijing?
And it becomes a three-cornered dialogue because you have two coasts of the United States and, China, which has a remarkable economy in ascendance.
Yes.
And you have a telepresence system at a new Wharton Penn facility in Beijing.
That's right. Very exciting. All of this innovation, in the things that we're doing and how we're doing it and in our students' mindset, it's such a great place to be, great place to work.
I really enjoy it. I have to say, in the 6 years that I've been at Wharton, I am constantly amazed at the energy and the capability and the ambition and, frankly, the stamina of the students who participate in the WEMBA program. They're working full-time in jobs. Many of them have families. There are a number of babies that get born every year.
Yep.
And they're going through an absolutely full-time academic program scheduled in a way so that they can continue keeping all these other balls up in the air, but taking on a full-time MBA program as well. To me, it's just an amazing group of people, and it's a privilege to be associated with that.
It is. I agree. It's remarkable.